everyone, welcome back to the Kamen Riders Reviews podcast. I'm Kachuri, joined by my legend co-hosts, Frez, Kat, and our special guest for this series, Sean Dillon. How you guys doing?
Doing all right. Didn't get a lot of sleep, but doing all right.
Same. Mood, extra mood. So we are covering today the Kamen Rider X-Aid crossover with the Kamen Rider build with Legends Riders movies, Heisei Generations Final.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
All right, I'm going to lead with this analogy on the top, and I know Sean corrected me in the pre-show, and you can correct me again, but imagine, if you will, we were a podcast covering a Superman cartoon of some sort. And imagine for our, what episode is this? 5, 6?
Fifth.
Imagine for our 5th episode, we had to cover, without any further context, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh God!
Honestly, this is more. Honestly, this film's more coherent than Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Barely.
I mean, it's mostly just fight scenes.
That's true.
It's just an excuse.
It's mostly just fight scenes and everybody waiting their turn for the dialogue.
Yeah, and to have a speech about why they're Kamen Rider, which, those speeches don't work unless there's a reason why they shouldn't be Kamen Rider being provided. That isn't just because I don't want to be Kamen Rider.
Well, so I think I said this while we were going over Geo and 01's crossover. They usually film these before they film the season. So it's clear that they didn't have any of the details. So, like, we start out this movie. By the way, we start this movie with the last 2 minutes of Kamen Rider X8's final episode. So that whole flashback.
You told me this.
Yeah.
I lost my fucking mind.
So the flashback is actually from Build's cameo from Kamen Rider X8, the last 2 minutes of that series.
It is completely fucking wild that Kamen Rider was like, we watched 01. 01, barring those others movies, it had a nice satisfactory wrap up. This is like if 01 had that nice satisfactory wrap up, and 2 minutes before the end, Kamen Rider Geek showed up and punched Aruto in the head.
So basically how like X8 ends, X8 does the final boss fight, they do their epilogue, characters come back, blah, 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 speech about, trying to preserve the future, blah, blah, blah. And then, theme song. And then it cuts to a scene after the credits where the X8 riders are fighting and Build shows up and steals X8's power. For what reason? We didn't know. We didn't know for weeks. And us Americans that were following the subs, we didn't even get an official subtitled version of this movie until we were like near the end of Build's run, because we had everyone had to wait for the DVDs to come out, and then the DVDs needed subbed, and then so we start out with that flashback, and then we find out that it was all a dream. It was all a dream that Build had. Why do you have that dream? Kind of weird, but that X8 bottle that
my theory.
What was that?
He is just making my theory more and more true that he is actually the scientist.
Katsuragi.
Yeah.
So the X8 bottles gets purified into the game and doctor bottles. I think I said before, there's a whole series of bottles that they did for Legend Riders. So like Detective Flash Drive is Kamen Rider Double. I don't know what else they did, but and you find out that Banjo's trying to be the manager of the coffee shop. Why? Because the master's missing. They don't say, "Oh, because that son of a bitch betrayed us." No, the master's missing.
Yeah, and then there's a scene later on where the master shows up and they're all acknowledging that he's evil. So I guess that was shot later.
No, I think they didn't have the details, but they still wrote in the plot that master betrayed them at some point, and somewhere Build gets his sparkling soda can power up, Because like that was another thing. Oh, I worked all night for this power up. Okay, just
It's like if
randomly
you want a
added.
plot reason that they say it, it may be that they're trying to hide it from Misora, but that's the only explanation that I can give.
Was Misora in that room? I saw. I know
She
Sawa
came
was
up
there.
very quickly saying that there was a smash sighting.
Which leads us to our weird mooks of the movie, Nebula Bucksters. So, Bucksters are the Humagears of X8.
Why are they
There's
calamari?
Yeah, well, they're meant to look like a actual health virus. So you all remember what the image of like Corona looked like way back in the day?
That was a
Yeah.
spiky ball. It was not
Well,
calamari.
well, the thing is, Corona wasn't out at this time, so they had like their own weird goop. Like I guess the best way you could compare it to was the parasite from Metroid Fusion.
So it's the blob.
It's a blob, and the masks are meant to represent the blobs, and then stronger Bucksters are actually game characters from video games that came and are monsters of the week, and then there are just some other characters that look human, like we see Ripardo and Poppy, that they're like Bucksters that have independent thought. So there's a lot. There's a lot of themes that Takahashi took from X8 and put in 01.
Anyway, hey, punching these things isn't working. Hey, what if I use my new powers? Oh, I'm a completely different fucking Kamen Rider. That's weird.
And I will never use this power ever again.
Yeah, so the game and Dr. Biles turns Build into X8, but with the Build belt, and he can finally do damage to these things. That's weird. Oh, there's a bad guy, and somehow Banjo gets sent to another world.
That's right, kids. We're doing the multiverse. I told you.
Will eat your heart out.
I told you. I said it at some point that the only way you could have crossovers with this with Build would be to have multiverse theory, because no other series has to deal with the fact that Japan, a magic box from Mars, split Japan into 3 authoritarian separate nations.
I will say one thing though, I'm still fucking confused because that is a lot of Kamen Riders for 2 universes, especially one where they're in such a crisis as a Skywall.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a nap while you talk about multiverse shit. Multiverse shit is boring nowadays, especially when it comes to superhero work.
Well,
But Sean, what if we have that one universe where everybody's an asshole? What if we have that?
Isn't that just the Build universe?
This is the Ultimates universe, honestly. Well, before they retconned it.
What?
I mean, Spock has a goatee in the evil universe. The Brigadier has a eye patch in the evil universe, and I'm pretty sure there's an evil slider or whatever it's called for Quantum Leap. Oh, Evil Leaper.
Yeah, those aren't parallel universe. Those are just what do you want to call them? Counterparts. Not.
Oh, speaking
Dark
of Scout
Mirrors.
Bacula,
Dark Mirrors.
Fresno, what do you think of Mirror Darkly?
Let's move on.
Anyways.
So basically the bad guys, the bad guy creates this whole thing, and now everyone can see that there's another Earth in our atmosphere. And so we get a cut for all the riders that are going to appear in this movie. Yes, there's one dude that's just out in the middle of space that somehow notices that's going on in a silver armor and blonde hair. That's Space Jesus. Don't worry about it. And then we cut to the X8 crew where Kamen Rider Laser, who is a motorcycle, shows up and tells Emu to get off.
Okay, I just want to stop here and just say, okay, yeah, I've been saying it in the pre-show, and I'll say it for the benefit of everyone at home. Kachiri and Baby Rashad, all these people.
No, Sean knows none of these because he only watched Build.
Yeah, because I only watched Build and the original one and the Shin. I probably should do Black Sun at some point, but otherwise I've only seen the original Build and Shin.
So you're in the same boat as
So in the same boat as all of us. It's just a bunch of these fuckers who we've never seen before show up, and we're supposed to know their entire deal because we're supposed to be Kamen Rider super fans or something.
Yep.
I just wanted to watch a science boy crank his belt.
Oh God.
Or at the very least, a science boy team up with a doctor boy and crank their belts. Else and play video games.
Cranking and pulling and fighting the snakes.
I mean, to be
Can I
fair,
do
the
it?
title
Blue
of
Cue
it
again?
was Build an X-Aid with Legend Riders, so, you know.
Yeah.
There were like 9 fucking Kamen Riders in this movie.
Yeah.
It was kind of
So
ridiculous.
X-Aid Riders, they are all of them represent a different genre of video games. Laser is mostly sports video games. But for some reason his level 2 form is a motorcycle. And basically in the show they say it's to promote co-op play. So so for the Laser debut, X8 has to ride him so they can fight the bad guy.
I'm just gonna cut in again. I know nothing. I know none of the lore of these people, but I do want to highlight one thing: the girl in the red jacket with the skirt has a rockin' outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
She
I also
is
like how the
styling.
motorcycle character is totally in for the entire thing. He doesn't appear for only one scene and then fucks off.
Nope, he appears again. He has another form. Whenever they all transform next to each other, like the 3 non-X8 riders, he's in all those scenes. So for some reason he has a level 0 form. They explain in the show. I'm not going to go into it. But his level 0 form allows him to like fight normally, at least like a normal Kamen Rider. And then Kamen Rider Brave is RPGs. So, you know, he's a knight from like Dragon Quest.
Okay.
And Kamen Rider Snipe, the one with the gun, is of course shooting games.
Okay,
and
which
war
one's the hard
games.
game beater?
That's you,
Emu-
Fresno.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
Emu's technically the hard game beater. He's the
But I don't have a Kamen Rider belt to turn into a punch man, so
I'm very glad
I
you
can just beat
explained
Super
this
Ghouls and
because they
Toads.
totally keep their powers this entire thing, and they don't arbitrarily lose them because of the bad guys.
Yeah, but that's how we get other riders to come in. There's a mention. We could bring up the elephant now. There's a mention of Yuki-san and how she went off to space.
With
Yeah, they
Coochie.
yeeted a problem actress to space.
I'm waiting for the elephant to join the Google Meet.
I didn't prepare the elephant.
Thank
Womp
God.
womp.
I should have prepared the
Oh.
elephant. There's a picture of her I would have used for the elephant too. 1 second, let me find it.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the reason why she was not joining them for this movie was because she joined a cult called Happy Science, which I've seen described as Japanese Scientology, and I, based off the research I've done, can happily say that is not Japanese Scientology. It's Japanese Mormonism.
Oh God. Yeah, no, there's
Someone
a
who lives with bunch of
fantastic
Mormons, yes.
there's a fantastic 3-hour video over everything they do and all the animes they made.
Well, it's a
But
supercut, so
yeah, it's a supercut, but the guy still recommends you watch the 3-hour whatever. Give me 1 second.
Well, I mean,
I would use this picture of her because she's already in a spacesuit and she gets yeeted in space.
I gather it's more informative than a 7-hour video on a Nickelodeon children's sitcom.
That's same
Only
energy.
mild amounts of shade thrown. Only mild.
Let's see what else.
I mean, the alternative image to use for the friggin' thing would be this.
Oh God.
I mean, for all that space Mormonism, there is very much Japanese Mormonism. It is very much a science fiction thing, but which gets the Scientology thing. Though Japanese Scientology is actually the people who did the sarin gas attacks in 1995.
Oh God.
Let's stop dwelling on that and let's move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
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 So, as I said before, the main villain is of this movie. I did not write down the actual scientist's
Enigma?
name. Well, Enigma's the hands. So basically, the goal is they're trying to push Earth closer. Then the two hands are going to grab each other and then force the two Earths to collide, thus destroying
Okay.
both of them.
think
Excuse
I
me,
think
but I might pronounce this horribly wrong, but Mogami.
Yeah, Mogami. He
Heisei Mogami.
he has created a whole pseudo rider system. There's the blue left Kaiser, the red right Kaiser, and they're each on separate on these two worlds, messing around with the build team and the X8 team.
yeah, and it turned out that he's not from not two incarnations from different parallel universes. I honestly barely followed.
It's the same dudes that was split in half. There's the more left brain, more analytical, more stoic, and then the right brain, funky half.
See, I missed that. I thought it was his parallel self, and they were trying.
Well,
to
that would make more sense for a multiverse story rather than two guys
wouldn't
being
it?
split up. Yeah,
Wait, is it
Team
not
up
his
with-
parallel self? They even talked
No.
about how they wanted to come together again.
Yeah, no, because he got
Okay.
split in half.
Oh,
That's
Huh.
why whenever at the end of the movie he transforms into Bai Kaiser, like the two halves of him get cut in half and then combined back together before the Bai Kaiser armor goes on.
Just merging. I mean, this movie's such a confusing thing to me that I'm like, wow.
So the X8 crew
are you
loses
sure?
their
Because
powers.
everything I'm finding here says that they are two different Mogamis from one from each of the worlds.
I always assumed it was the same one because he talks about how he got split in half. He hates Katsuragi because he ruined him, and that's why they're both all messed up on one half their bodies.
And apparently, Katsuragi's reasoning has something to do with the power of friendship and peace and love. Which is that a Phrasen build?
No,
No,
not
no.
yet.
Again, I think they were just trying to find a solution because they didn't write down any of the specifics. So
He never says
Banjo.
that.
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, he never says that he's solved the experiment. The experiment begins, or any of his catchphrases.
No, in the so instead of whatever the law of victory is set is what TV Nihon uses for his catchphrase. Anyway, what's up, Chris?
I was just gonna say while we're talking about this whole thing about how Build is rather hastily sketched out because he didn't have to go on. Banjo's character makes no fucking sense to me in this because
I
he
was
sees
yelling at the screen the entire
he sees
time.
all these common riders like selflessly fighting to save people, and he's like, "What? People being selfless and heroic? I don't get it, man. That's so weird." And he has this whole thing where he realizes, and it's like, "Motherfucker! 3 episodes ago, you just learned that you had to be selfless and being a true hero to turn into a common rider."
Yeah, though his phrasing here actually brings up something that I'm gonna put. I'll put a better version of it in the group chat, but just to share on the screen.
Yep. But when is he not? Let's be honest. When is he not?
But they explicitly, the running gag is, "Are these people idiots?" And goes, "I am an idiot."
I do love though. There's this scene like I'm jumping ahead a little. This is a mess. I do like that there's this nice tracking shot of like the X8 crew helping injured people after the fight and all that. And it ends. Yeah, it's a good little shot, and then Banjo shows up and he's like, "What's going on? Where's the skywall? Why is Tokyo split into 3?" There was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
No, so I should also mention that while we're watching the movie after episode 14, Japanese kids could have watched this movie around the time episode 9 or 10 came out. Like it was in movie theaters for weeks. So again, part of it is if they did have details written out, like why the master betrayed them or anything like that, they didn't want to put in the movie just in case. Spoilers.
When did the
And
master
I
betray
have
them again?
around-
It was 13?
13,
13,
14.
14.
Okay. Wow, that's really early.
Mm-hmm. So it makes sense why the writing's really weird for the Build crew, and it just it hurts this movie a lot. But then at the same time,
Yeah.
you know, as I said before, I enjoyed this movie 5 years ago when I first watched it. But again, I was also at the end of Build, and it was kind of cool, you know, revisiting the XA characters and, you know, seeing early Build again, you know, because boy, 30 episodes changes a lot. Anyway, Kat had their hands up first.
So I think what would have helped this movie a lot is if it didn't take place specifically between 14 and 15 or 16 or whatever it was. It was way too late in the series for it to actually be good, essentially, especially since they demolished Banjo's character. And honestly, they probably shouldn't have filmed it first.
Yeah, given what happens in the rest of the series, the really only good place to put it would be after the first 4 episodes, like set around between episodes 4 and 5-ish.
Yeah.
But the thing is, one of the so you know I think I mentioned this during the Geo 01 movie. The final fight, you know, you have one rider in their super overpowered fire form, and then you have their other rider in their what amounts to Super Saiyan 2. So basically, you have newer Superman that can only control 2 or 3 of his powers at a time, next to Superman who just took a sun bath during the final fight. Or in Dragon Ball terms, you know, Bill just went Super Saiyan while X-Aid is going Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. They always want to do the movie around the time to showcase the power up during the final fight, so there is something there, you know.
Yeah.
The final form versus the first power up. That's all we have to say.
Yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, Bill did not even need to be in that final fight. As soon as X-Aid went super hyper Muteki, like, it's the same story of whenever Geo and 01 was fighting, and you know Geo went Grand Geo. No, don't worry about it. I have the power of all 20 Kamen Riders that came before you. You can just sit tight while I do this, you know.
I mean, I can get it. It kind of shows like a comparison of the new guy's power to the old guy's power. And if it shows them as semi-equal, then you can see exactly how strong the new guy is going to become.
Yeah.
Sort
But
of
at
thing.
the same time, like X-Aid literally has the most busted final form. One of the most busted. He's literally the Mario superstar. Power up permanently.
Yeah, from what I got, he's immortal as well. So
Yeah.
Also, it's funny that the way the narrative goes, to keep Build off of Sparkling Build until the end of the movie, they had to start the movie with Banjo having the can like, look at me, I'm going to turn into Sparkling Cross Dragon, and then eat it into the parallel universe. They don't meet up until the end of the movie.
Yep.
So is the build that doesn't appear for the remainder of the series the Dr. Gamer or the Phoenix robot?
What do you mean?
I think you mentioned at some point in one of these that there's a version of Build that appears only in this movie.
I'm going to say Dr.
No.
Gamer, considering
No.
Oh,
No.
movie.
wait, Dr. Gamer pops up in the series?
No. No, the only form is game and Doctor doesn't show up in the series.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I thought you were talking about like a version of Build. Like I thought you were talking about like Katsuragi or something. Well, we gotta talk about that later. But let's get back. So we get our first Legend Rider to appear. X8's powers are gone, and you know, Right Kaiser's like, well, time to kill you all. And out of nowhere just comes this like fire blast something, and it's Kamen Rider Ghost. Hey,
Oh boy, your favorite.
time for him to use the powers of Isaac Newton.
Yeah, you were
So
talking.
I kind of like him.
World. I'm tired of these people. Oh, I'm going to Mars.
So Kat was saying she likes Build.
No, Ghost. I kind of like Ghost.
Oh, Ghost, I mean. So yeah,
He's fun.
Ghost has his whole thing is he lets the spirits of famous people possess him during fights. Like Thomas Edison.
Ugh. Never mind, he's no longer fun.
Like Goemon. Like Robin Hood. Don't ask why some of them are fictional famous people. Just know that they can possess.
No. Don't you remember Peter Capaldi? Robin Hood was totally real.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh,
And also,
I think that came out at the same time.
Wasn't Tesla one of them too?
No.
No, it was Alexander the Great and Cleopatra both were ones, apparently.
Well, there were extra ones. There's 100 icon. So the power-ups are called icons. Because his if you didn't look, his belt is just an eyeball.
So Ghost is basically a fake character. Good to know, everybody.
Kamen Rider Ghost is also the only third person that I remember the name of. Everybody else, I do not remember their name. They are the annoying orange, slot machine boy, and Juice Man.
There's also
I can't remember their fucking names.
There's also the one who thinks he's God.
Oh,
he's my favorite character.
I got him.
So I told you guys that the same guy who did X8 did 01. There's a lot of parallels, right?
Parallels? I think you mean.
You want to know who his mirror is?
Yes.
You 1000% know what?
I no longer stand this person.
I still do because he's more fun than Guy was.
Guy wishes he was Shin God Don Kuroto.
Yes, these are words that make complete sense to me.
Hang on. Yeah, Kichiri. What is this guy? What did you call him?
Shin God Don Kuroto.
He's a god?
He calls himself a god.
What's God spelled backwards?
It was there.
Bye, good night, everybody. We're done here. Bye.
It was there all along. So long story short, this Kuroto is still showing up in Kamen Rider stuff. In Geo, he was another O's. Actually, part of the plot was for some reason the bad guys messed around with time and threw him from the X8 universe and the O's universe, and then gave him Kamen Rider O's powers. So that's fun. And he did 2 fights with Guy. I believe he won both times. He's also, so I've never shown you guys the Kamen Rider Sephiroth lookalike.
You've shown it to us, yes.
That's Kuroto. That's this other dude. And he is the reason why we currently have in that other series that I bring up every now and then. He's the reason why we have Kamen Rider 03 now. He's the one that created the 03 progress key.
Cool. I didn't need to know any of that. I still enjoy his character, though.
Oh, yeah.
He is so over the top. It's perfect.
I love how he figures out how to counteract the way his power is in there. He creates a Kamen Rider build game. He's able to transform into his dangerous zombie form. And power runs out. And he proceeds to still hit the dude over and over without any powers. That's a funny scene. Peridot, the one that's following around Build, he's the Jin of X8. X8 and Ghost knows each other from the last massive team up, and we get a scene where Sento realizes that the dream was actually memories of Katsuragi. But why would he have that?
Because he's holding the bottle.
Yes. My theory. This movie is not helping my theory.
Drink it down. Drink the sweet, sweet vindication.
Well, you'll find out next week. Given the next time trailer.
So stuff happens. Banjo falls down the pit, and Emo can't lift him up. So we get reintroduced to O's, which is
Slot
a
machine
fun.
boy.
Okay. They didn't say his name in the movie, so I was watching the entire thing going, who in the hell is this? Who's
I
Kamen
kept
Rider?
getting him confused with Gaim.
I confused him with Ghost because they were both wearing orange.
So I just called him Slot Machine Boy.
Yep. So O's is the anti-capitalist Kamen Rider. He goes against every version of greed there is.
Oh, I'm liking what you're putting down here.
So his villains, the greed, each have a certain greed that they're associated with. And he's a man that all he wants is 50 cents for tomorrow's underwear. Because there's underwear vending machines in Japan, like for disposable
This is
underwear.
fantastic lore. You know where it should have been? In the movie!
Well,
They assume that you've seen it.
yeah, a little bit. But there was an ongoing scene that they kept bringing up, his tragic backstory, where he was a missionary in some African country that was getting bombed. And he was trying to save a 6-year-old little girl, and he couldn't quite reach her, and she blows up in front of him. And they replayed the scene. They replayed a scene of a 6-year-old girl getting blown up for like half the series. So the fact that he finally got to reach out his hand and grab someone and save them, that was what the whole scene of him pulling Banjo out of the hole was all about. And then they replayed it when, Ankh is falling out of the building, and he reaches out and grabs Ankh's hand.
I don't have the screenshot saved, but hey, Kat, you're like me.
Yeah.
You like Sailor Moon, yes?
Yes.
Did you think of Sailor Moon when this falling scene happened?
A little bit, yes.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. You know what else I was thinking at the time? Ankh is fucking amazing. I actually really like him. It's a good thing he doesn't die twice again in this movie.
Right.
So Ankh is like the supporting leading male throughout the whole thing. Ankh isn't the person. Ankh is the hand that's controlling the person.
All right, I'm out.
So
I will say, it's funny that they call Build the heated drama between men. There was a lot of gay in this.
There's Kamen Rider. There's a lot of gay.
There's like at least 3 fucking slash pairings in this movie.
So if you notice, whenever Ankh was talking to Iji, like his hand was moving and pointing and stuff like that, it was to signify that the hand was talking, even though it was going through the dude's mouth.
God.
Yep.
I thought of the worst fucking reference I could make. Maybe I'll make it at the end of the movie. But I just want to say my case, like, for why I bounced off this movie. Cherry, I'm very glad you are giving context for all these writers and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you've had to spend this entire podcast saying, so this is this guy, and these are these guys, and that's what they're about, when the movie, as soon as you know all this shit, is basically making the case against the movie for us.
Well,
this is against sense of continuity.
Let me go one step further. Let me go one step further. They don't explain anything about any of the characters to avoid spoilers, but at the same time, there's no reason why half the story should be here. This is just a mess of a movie.
Yeah,
we haven't even talked about the fact. So Foundation X is their crossover villains that some directors would like to use, some directors don't. There's no story of Foundation X. They just use them if they need a crossover villain. But Foundation X shows up, we see them in suits, but then they just disappear. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. They bring back all the O's generals. And O's gets his triumphant because O's so his whole thing is he loses his powers because all the core metals get destroyed. And because all the core metals get destroyed, Ankh is dead too. Right? That's why he's carrying around the broken metal, because that's actually Ankh's heart.
I'm so glad that when we finally do that one, been explained to us in the movie.
Yeah, I know. But the fact is, we get this awesome, we get the whole jazz, we get the whole thing of him transforming again, and it's epic. We don't even see him fight his own generals. It just cuts to him later on fighting regular mooks. Same with Heisei. Heisei comes back. He gets to transform. He gets to fight his own mooks, and he kills 2 of them in one shot, and then we don't see him deal with the other 2. It's like they had no idea what they were doing at all. They didn't know what they were doing with Build. They didn't know what they were doing with X8. They didn't know what they were doing with O's. They didn't know what they were doing with Heisei. They didn't know what they were doing with Gaim. Gaim has no reason to be in this movie. And then don't get me started on Ghost. What's up, Sean?
Yeah, this is basically the main issue with a lot of event comics. There's just 500,000 different characters in this without a real central pillar that guides them. Like Crisis on Infinite Earths, I mentioned this was more coherent than that. Crisis on Infinite Earths is absolutely incoherent as a narrative. There are like 50 main characters in the first half of the series who basically disappear by the 6th issue, so it can be about Superman, old Superman, and kid Superman. And also Lex Luthor's good son for some reason, who he had with Lois Lane, because of course that shit happened. The fact of the matter is, most superhero comics are messes, especially event comics. Like, to give you an idea, DC Comics has only produced 2 good event comics. It's number 1 being having a massive gap before you get to number 2, and it all goes downhill from there. Like Infinite Crisis, which a lot of people make recommendations for, has no first act. Its first act is 5 different miniseries that came out over the course of 6 years leading up to Infinite Crisis. Dear God, it's just an utter convoluted mess. Do you have any idea how hard it is for most DC Comics writers to do Act 1, Act 2, Act 3? Only 2 of them have actually succeeded at that. Jesus Christ, this is just all the incomprehensibility of event comics, and I have nothing to say about it because it is so goddamn dull. So instead, I'm going to recommend the comic that's coming out this week. Loving Ohio by Matthew Ehrman and Sam Beck is a very good coming-of-age story that has a lot of horror elements. Highly recommended.
All right.
Sounds like a good book. Anyway, Kat?
To put this back in Kamen Rider perspective, I'm going to refute one thing. This is not quite like an event comic. This is like a regular comic when you start to actually look into it a bit more. Because I made this point earlier where it's like, so we have, how many Kamen Riders do we have in this one?
6 main writers, and then X8 and Build has their additional writers.
Okay, so this movie seems to heavily imply that they are all in the same 2 universes, probably only on X-Aid's universe. I'm not entirely sure, but they seem to imply it's all in the exact same 2 universes. They only bring in 2 universes. Where the hell were they? This is the problem I have with superhero stuff in general, especially when you do things like the Avengers. Where were they? There were these big, huge international, well, not international, it all happens in Japan, but there were these humongous things that happen in Japan over and over again, and these guys just don't show up during the course of somebody else's run.
Oz doesn't have his powers, so that's his excuse.
Heisei does.
Heisei technically also destroyed his powers, but the director forgot about that. So
maybe you should watch Heisei.
I told you there's a few storylines that aren't canon.
Oh my god. Okay, where's that section I saw?
God.
Okay, so X-Aid takes place a week after something. The film takes place after Ghost Rebirth. Film takes place after that one. So the only one that is absolutely 100% non-canon is O's.
Yeah. So Heisei. So the thing is, they say Heisei takes place a day before the events, and that the reason why in that movie, Heisei destroys his belt at the very end. Like he has this is I am more than this belt, so he throws into lava.
That doesn't help matters.
And then Gaim is Space Jesus. For some reason, he's in this movie. Don't know why. He says something about forbidden fruit. Whatever his name is, the bad guy Mogami is like, I don't know, going after the forbidden fruit, never gets brought up again. He gets 2 scenes. Then Ghost, I mean, I don't even know how Ghost still has his powers. They showed that even though Ghost is now alive, which, by the way, the whole plot of Kamen Rider Ghost is he has the powers because he's dead.
I have. Nope. Oh, I'm not getting into that.
Yep. So in the first episode of Ghost, he dies, and then he's given powers because he's dead, and then of course he gets better.
Of course.
And somehow
this is even worse than a crossover comic, because at least the crossover comics would try to remember some of the stuff that happened to the characters. Not always, mind you, but sometimes.
So there's a shot at the end of this movie where they're all lined up. There's an explosion and it's slow mo. They slowly go past the explosion. Like, I mean, I posted. I posted right in our chat. Give me 1 second as I bring it up.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I'm thinking over. Kat's probably right. This isn't like a event comic. The actual apt comparison is that this is a Channel Awesome movie.
Oh no!
Oh my god, it is.
But so go back to the scene where all the Kamen Riders are going in front of an explosion. Did that not look like this? There's a reason why they did that scene.
The only thing I remember from that scene is the fact that Kamen Rider Ghost has a really cool unicorn-themed bike.
Oh, it's a lizard.
That is a unicorn, sir. That just is a unicorn.
Okay. I got to circle back because I'm thinking of it. And Sean's right. This is a fucking Channel Awesome movie. Everyone shows up and does their bit. If you haven't followed every single review these people have ever done, you're gonna be like, "Who the hell is this? Why do they have like a talking panda on their shoulder or some shit?"
They even do that stupid thing where, like, I really hate this in any kids media or any media at all, where every single person has to have one line of dialogue when they're having a conversation. Why do they do that? I hate that. Don't do that shit.
Maybe have some silent moments. Silence is nice. Also, what's with the cinematography of this film? There are some shots that, frankly, do not make sense. And it's for why it's shot like this. I mean, even with Hideaki Anno's eclectic and eccentric cinematography, there's still a sense of purpose for these shots. Why they're shot this specific way. Here it just feels haphazard.
Yeah.
So good, y'all.
So let me bring up something. So I brought up there's a live action Bleach movie.
Oh god.
I told Chris about that. She's kind of interested.
It's not that bad of a movie. I kind of wish they would have done their own thing with it, but it's whatever.
She does want to know what arc it was.
It's the first 18 episodes of the anime told in like 2 hours of live action.
I'll let her know.
Yeah. But the actor who plays Ichigo is the actor who plays Heisei. I'm blanking on names, but Ishida, the bow and arrow guy, is played by Kamen Rider Heisei's secondary rider, the same actor.
Is that the camera guy in this movie?
No, Meteor didn't show up in this movie. Now the camera guy is Jake, spelled J-K.
Okay.
And then his teacher is his teacher, which that's a whole weird plot. His teacher's worried that, Heisei is going to be a better teacher than him.
Yeah, I did not like that subplot at all. I found him quite annoying.
He's a lovable character in his own series. He's very much like if you ever watch the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime, he's very much like a Crowler in it.
Christ.
Yeah,
that is not a good comparison to make.
But the thing is, kind of like how Crowler had a redemption, like halfway through the series, he gets a redemption, and it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, you never seen yeah, Crowler is like one of the homeboys in like season 3 and season 4 of the GX anime.
No, I stopped watching after a while because I was just like, I don't care about any of these fuckers.
Yeah. With Yu-Gi-Oh, I basically stopped watching after Duel Monsters ended, and then I tried the Dice Monsters one, but and I just couldn't get into any of the other series. Like the
Meanwhile,
fear,
I'm out here.
like the
Sean,
time
Meanwhile, I'm
travel
out here
arc
like, hey,
alone
cat.
kind of make. Yeah, time
What?
travel arc alone kind of made me go, nope, nope.
I'm
Sean,
out
you
here
would like
like,
5Ds. Anyway, what's
I'm
up,
out here
Chris?
like, hey, cat. Hey, Chris, look at these memento cards. I'm going crazy.
But yeah, no, and then there's a female movie writer in Forza, and she's Orihime in the live action Bleach. So all three Forza Kamen writers are main cast in Bleach, which is just kind of funny how that
Honestly, we've
worked out.
gone so far on a tangent. I don't even remember what we talked about in the movie. The movie's just
It's
Well,
just a bunch of fight
The
scenes.
movie's a mess.
it's a mess.
Well, Let's get into the end of the movie anyway, because I just got to explain the whole Forza bit, kind of.
Mhm.
Do you guys want to watch Forza?
Eh,
Kind of, yeah.
Forza's fun. Forza is basically Breakfast Club Kamen Rider.
Kind of, yeah.
no, wait. Now that Cat's here, Kachiri, say the other thing you said about Forza, the buddy thing.
Oh, so basically, Kamen Rider up to Forza was super dark. Still a kid show, but they did a lot of dark things, such as exploding a 6-year-old girl for 20 plus episodes in a row.
For kids.
Yeah. So the tsunami happened, and they decided that Forza, instead of being super dark, Forza was going to be the rider that would befriend everyone. So
Yes.
literally, because this all takes place in a high school, most of the bad guys of the week are other high school students that gains the powers of the switches and turns into monsters. And so usually the issue of the two parts, because Forza is all two parts. Everything's a two part in Forza. Basically the issue is resolved. Forza kicks whatever student's ass it is, and then they become buds. And then move on and on and on. Anyway, what's up, Kat?
So I'm only thinking of two things. The first thing is I'm going to defeat you with the power of friendship and
Yes.
this gun I found.
Yes. No, that is
Hey,
quite
Kat.
literally.
Who does that make you think of?
Anyways, moving on from Symphogear.
I mean,
No,
it's
no,
really
good
most
enough for me.
anime. Like that's literally
The
Dragon Ball. I'm pretty sure that's how Dragon Ball works.
Well, no, but the thing is,
No
like,
idea.
it's one of those things where they'll even slow down the handshake. So the handshake he forces them to build at the end of the movie, that's the handshake that tells you that he made a new friend. And like they'll literally have an epic like drum beat every time, like the sound effects and everything. Like it's corny. It's great though, but it's corny.
Anyways, the second thing I was going to say is I don't know if this is just an effective coming off of 01, but man, these belts are fucking silly. They just are. Forza's belt especially, since it's a bunch of switches and it like juts out like a full meter from his stomach. It's like, holy crap.
And he has 40
Cranking and
switches.
pulling.
He has 40 switches, and they all do different things, such as the Bigfoot one. He also has a pogo stick one.
Okay. Yep, this is silly.
He has a chainsaw one. You saw the rocket launcher and the Gatling gun. Let's see. Oh, yes. There's so many.
You know what? I think this is also the most appropriate place to say it as well. So I managed to somehow coerce Chris into watching this with me.
Oh my god.
She didn't understand half of it either, so I feel vindicated. But there's one point where, Build and Kruzza transform, and she pointed something out to me that I didn't realize this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do a quick little screen share.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
It's sprues.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we finally got a good look at the side of Kruzza transformation in this movie, which we don't really get a good side shot when he transformed in the show yet. But you can see that the dragon wings are a different part of the thing. That after the two sides slap, the dragon wings fold over and on top of them.
See, I had always thought that they were just pipes that were sending the bottle juice around so that they would build the character. Essentially, I didn't realize that it also looked like Gundam sprues.
Yeah.
Because
They
again,
finally.
building.
So basically, Build and XA come up with a plan to basically, you know what? They're trying to charge these hands at a specific time. Let's just give them way too much energy and mess everything up. So they do so. The hands touch together. The worlds are way too close to each other. I forgot to even bring up like what Guy is doing. He just shows up and roundhouse kicks one of the hands, and then just fucks right off. I mean,
He has an orange sword and banners.
he's Space Jesus. He's also the Madoka Magica Kamen Rider.
Let's see. Kamen Rider Heisei Generations Final came out December 9th, 2017. Doctor Strange came out in 2016, so now we know who they stole it from.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just trying to speed run this. So they find out Katsuragi messed up Megami's plans. Blah blah blah.
Fight scene.
Fight scene. We get to see all the final forms, which there's. So Toei was trolling everyone. So there's an ongoing debate around this time on what O's final form is. So we saw his red form, Trajador, right?
Okay.
But one of the forms we didn't see is what was intended to be the final form of did I use no? That does not look right. That doesn't look right. You need to take a nap there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This movie's it's boring. I'm bored. The action's not thrilling enough to make up for the lack of character shit.
I will ask a very important question. Is it Gaim who gets like all the hollow rainbow stuff all over him?
It's fruits. No. That's Ghost. Ghost gets the rainbow stuff.
Okay, that one was cool. That final form was cool.
So, Sean, if you wanted a stimulating topic of discussion, you could talk about why the Straight Story is the best Star Trek film ever made.
That's gonna be for December.
So, are you talking about this one?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
okay.
Hollow.
Yeah, so you see the eyeball. I told you his belt's an eyeball.
All right.
Chris fucking loves that one. She loves hollow shit.
Cool things in this movie. The way that as time almost runs out and the planets get closer, it's kind of like an Inception shot where like you've got one Tokyo and then the other Tokyo upside down in the sky above it.
Excuse you, I literally just made the comparison of Doctor Strange.
Okay, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange Inception. Okay, I'm mirroring you. Fuck.
Nah.
It's okay.
But it's climax time.
Also, I cannot believe it. They didn't have a shot of the Earth with Malaysia upside down, and then a bunch of robots coming in to attack. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong thing. Sorry.
I don't get that reference.
So it's climax time after all the pulling and the cranking and the flicking switches and everything.
You're going to get censored on this podcast apparently because we don't live in a free speech haven.
Good news is that Bill got
YouTube.
It's on YouTube. The last episode of the podcast, it's in there. That's the edit I kept. Anyway, what's up, Sean?
The bill that would have hampered free speech was undone because the Republican Party wanted it to be even more draconian.
Yes.
So Bill gives X8 his powers back. So X8 double fists those two bottles, get his powers back.
Oh yeah, he just grabs those bottles and he gives them a nice vigorous shake.
He shakes the can.
Yeah. And then they all
Then it erupts.
and then Bill and X8 transforms. They all get on their bikes. All the riders are there, and then they all say their catchphrases at the exact same time.
I love this because the subtitles layered on top of each other so you couldn't see shit.
Beautiful.
That was a good joke.
Beautiful.
From this point on, the movie's good.
This is the most riding I've ever seen Kamen Riders doing at once.
I mean, it's one long fight scene.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, it's one long fight scene, which most of the recap stuff being for other series than Build.
Yeah.
You know, in the Build and X8 movie with the Legend Riders.
Yeah. So they do the whole motorcycle scene, and then both Build and X8 jumps onto the hands where Kaiser is for the final fight of the movie. And, you know, I'm invincible, I'm immortal, blah, 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 blah.
I'm kind of surprised the God guy didn't fight the guy claimed by Kaiser. By Kaiser?
By Kaiser, yeah.
Claiming to be an emperor.
By Kaiser lighting?
Well, you gotta understand, this is still the Build X8 movie. Like, I mean, honestly, all six of them should have been just, you know, doing the scene from JoJo where all of them just like kicking by Kaiser on the ground, and you know
that would have been charming.
Master's off to the side drinking some bad coffee and then joins in.
God Almighty! I do love that. This is the part where Banjo's like, "Oh, I get it now. Being selfless and heroic. Oh, hey, Build. Here's your soda can. I've been holding on to your soda can all fucking movie in a parallel universe. Here it is.
Yeah.
Sparkling and kick this guy's ass."
Yeah. Speaking of Banjo, it just popped up to me. I find it very funny, though more in a chuckle way than an actual gutbuster, that Banjo can't make good coffee either, which makes me suspect that none of these people can make good coffee.
I think it's the beans. They have bad beans. Coffee's not hard. It's not.
Coffee's not hard, no.
And yet,
yeah.
You know what? Actually, going back to that plot point, actually, when the master shows up and he just has a mocha pot and a burner inside of his briefcase, and he makes really shitty coffee right there. It was really funny.
Yeah, especially when they just had the jump cut to him reacting to the coffee, and then just returns back to his composed face.
Essentially, when the characters were allowed to be the characters, I enjoyed it. I didn't understand half those characters, but you know.
We get the final fight. Bill goes into sparking. Explains that because they messed with the timing with Enigma, Kaiser's not invincible. But you know who
premature ejaculated, yes.
X8 turns into Hyper Mutek X8, which is honestly the power of the Mario Superstar.
No. You're thinking of the wrong series. He uses 7 Chaos Emeralds to become supersonic.
Gentlemen, I'm making an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog is a bitch-ass motherfucker who pissed on my wife.
Oh,
I'm not just pissing on the earth. I'm pissing on the fucking moon.
At least you're lucky.
That's right.
Albatross stole my wife.
Pissing on the moon, you idiot.
Download weed.exe. Holy shit.
But Build and X8 killed by Kaiser, destroyed the hands, and everything's back to normal. But hey,
except
somehow
now there's a secondary villain known as the Vikings.
And somehow Build and Banjo get back to their own universe. I don't know how they do it without the hands, but they did it. I don't know. Gamer magic. Who knows?
And and they go off to fight another baddie. And we have the credit scene with the images of the people who aren't part of a science cult.
Yeah, so
And the movie. Also, this just hammers the point home. The movie, the final fight ends 10 minutes before the credits roll because they had to spend those 10 minutes wrapping up the plot lines of every single goddamn Kamen Rider that was in this movie.
except for Gon. Gon was just there. Why is Gon there? Gon does not need to be there.
Yep. It's like Lord of the Rings, but for Kamen Rider.
And of course, and being that this is a crossover, basically your Marvel movie multiverse thing, you get post credits.
Well, I do want to bring up during the credits, they do show off like characters from all the respective series with the theme songs being played. However, they couldn't quite find any good group shots for Heisei because of a certain elephant that was blocking most of the shots.
Wait. I got to go back. There are two important things about this entire wrap up that I forgot. The first off is that once Sento and Banjo get home, they are laying in bed together. A heated drama between men.
Oh, speaking of which, that reminds me.
They do that all the time.
Are we including? Out of curiosity, are we including this in the kill count?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the earthquake killed those people in those cars.
Yeah, no.
And secondly, speaking of heated drama between men, we have I don't know the name of the rider, I forget, but Oos and Ankh. Yes, that they have some heated drama where Ankh takes his popsicle and gives it a lick.
Oh yeah, that's Ankh's big thing. In order for him to give Oz his powers, because Ankh hoards all the powers because he's agreed. Edgy usually has to bribe him with ice cream.
I like that you just deadpanned past my innuendo.
I know.
But that's the movie. Thank Christ.
Ice cream.
Oh,
so we get so the master did give a couple of bottles to Sento, the robot and Phoenix bottles, which he used in the movie. We get a post-credit scene, and a random bronze Kamen Rider comes out of nowhere and steals those back because they don't belong to him. Those are Hokuto's bottles. Ooh.
Oh shit!
Dun, dun.
Something that actually follows through with build instead of being something I don't understand. Oh,
but we'll meet more of that Kamen Rider in the next batch of episodes, I believe.
I'm sure we will.
So it's a Kamen Rider.
Oh yeah,
It's not
this
a
one's
Kamen Rider.
no. Sento actually says it was a Kamen Rider.
All right, interesting.
So that's the movie.
We all saw it sucks. See you next week.
I have a question for you, Kachiri.
Yeah.
Having seen again the 01 movie where shit went down and a lot of stuff didn't get brought up just because of COVID and all that. How much of this movie is canon to the actual series, minus obviously the after credits scene? Do they actually talk about what goes on in this movie during the series?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The evil scientists research may get brought up more than once.
Okay.
We may see some funky evil pseudo riders.
So essentially, it's not be immediately, but they will be parts of this movie distributed throughout the rest of the series.
And there may have been some clues in this movie to the end game of Build.
I honestly forget if anything from the 01 Geo movie got brought up in the 01 series after the fact.
The
Episode
whole
30.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle they brought it up, and I think if they had more time, they would have tied in the whole Sorio, Arto's dad giving him a new belt to the movie because Arto's dad is apparently the one that made the belt.
Right.
It's spoilers for Sean.
Who cares? That said, I guarantee you'll like the next movie a lot more because Oh boy, the next movie.
Be the One. We'll get to Be the One before the final batch of episodes.
Okay, but like this, in our experience, it was a mixed success. But the real time movie fucking ruled.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, Be the One is the real time of Build.
Good, good, good.
They named it after the theme song, so obviously it has to be good.
Yeah. Oh, it's a ride. And then the actual post movie, like they did their own Vulcan and stuff movies with Cross Z and another character that the other
Hopefully they don't fuck it up.
they actually do a good job with those too. Like the only time people consider Builds a miss is a short stint of episodes around the late 20s, early 30s. That's the only time people says Build misses. But the rest of the series is
here,
pretty good.
if we're being honest.
Can you DM me what happens in those episodes? Because just need a reminder of what happens in those
I'll
episodes.
send it to you real fast.
Yeah, just a quick DM.
But yeah, this kind of was. It's not like others.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
this is like
that's,
others movie bad,
yeah.
where it was a complete trash fire that we.
No,
hated.
there's no trash fires. It's just.
But at the same time, this movie is just like, meh. I'm very confused by it, and a lot of it didn't make very much sense. But it had some pretty fight scenes and wasn't overly offensive. Just dense with Kamen Rider crossovers.
It wasn't overly offensive because they sent somebody off with Poochie.
Yeah, I think that batch of episodes. Should I say when that specific batch of episodes ends, or is that a spoiler?
No. I gave the general when the episodes show up.
Yeah, that's the batch that they're referring to is the one that ends with 28.
But yeah, no, that's the only time anyone ever had complaints about Build. And then, so Frezzo, you saw the reviews on Letterboxd. I mean, a lot of people like this movie, and I liked this movie 5 years ago. Now that I rewatched it with like fresh eyes to what's going on with Build this time, and the fact that I'm being more critical of it, this movie sucked.
Yeah,
Sucks.
It's bad.
Like, I think that's the reason, because we're coming to it as a Build podcast from, oh boy, what's Build getting up to? And it's like a whole bunch of shit. Whereas I guess these people are coming, oh boy, it's the Kamen Rider crossover show featuring all my favorites.
Let's go back to Geo 01. You guys enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, that movie had focus, It wasn't like, here's everything. It's here's a fucky wucky alternate timeline. Here's the Kamen Riders that deal with fucky wucky alternate timelines. They 01 and Geo shake hands and they fight a baddie.
Yeah. No, it's just crazy. It's
That's why you don't make things with the main characters.
Oh my god!
Like, wait, what?
Cat could call it the Jodie Whittaker.
It's the Jodie Whittaker run of movies.
Oh god!
They added too many characters and they couldn't keep them all straight, so some of them got pushed off to the side.
Oh,
you said they were straight to begin with, but them tish.
Hey.
You can just say yes.
Actually, so I believe the next arc is only 7 episodes long. It's the Hokuto arc.
Yep. This is gonna be fun.
Let me double check how many episodes there are.
Yeah, I think you said when you sent me the potential outline, it's 3 then 4, or 4 then 3.
Well, either way, do you guys want to do 4 episodes next time or 3 episodes next time?
I'm fine with either.
I mean, is there anything else about this mess, or shall we tell everyone at home where you
let's
can
do 4. Let's do 4 next time.
All right.
Alrighty.
Okay. I just double checked what the episodes were. All right. Yeah, you can find us everywhere online with our names on it. I'm still not going to promote that bad site. Probably not until after the scariest month of most of Americans' lives coming up. Kat, what's been going on with your streams?
I'm still streaming on Sunday, Stardew Valley, also known as the Junimo Kart Extravaganza.
Junimo Kart?
It's fun. Junimo Kart.
Jumina Kart?
Kart.
You've seen the Sunset Speedway, Cat. It compels
I've
you.
seen it. I've seen it twice now. Still haven't beaten it, but I got close.
Frez, what hard games have you been reflecting on your streams?
Still Retro Game Challenge on the DS. Hopefully going to have that cleared in a session, maybe 2. Don't know. Depends on how things go. But after that, I have no idea what I'll be doing. But you can come over there every Monday.
We'll be doing Hunt for Boyfriend next time.
Cat. You realize that
Already claimed it. Dibs.
Cat, you realize if you do have a boyfriend and we get to that route, that you're totally going to get breaking and corpsing and all sorts of other things because I'm going to do this.
It's worth it.
Do slay the princess already.
Honestly, I've played Slay the Princess. It's really fucking good.
I've heard good things about that.
Maybe
when I have money, I'll do it. Maybe when I have money.
Fair enough.
Did somebody say they don't want to do something?
Huh?
No, keep going.
No, I couldn't hear what you said.
I said, did somebody need money to do something?
Listen, Cat, you just spent a lot of money sending a box of various treats and trolls to my home.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
Speaking of treats and trolls, Sean, what's been going on with you?
Mostly just bumming around. I'm doing reviews for Comics XF, where I'm gonna be one of the regular contributors for their reviews on the comic series The Power Fantasy, which is a story about how people try the fight against fighting, which is about a bunch of people with superpowers deciding not to get into fights with one another because their powers are so powerful they'd end the world. Though I'd like to recommend, once again, Loving Ohio, which is coming out this week, a graphic novel about a young girl living in a small town being besieged by a cult and a serial killer. Those two things may or may not be related. It's really damn good.
And maybe Fresh should check his Steam.
Oh God!
Oh, come on! Did you? Let me look at my email.
I totally yesterday was about ready to buy Frez Kingdom Hearts, and I saw it was full price. I'm like, oh hell no!
Yeah, no.
One day I will play Alan Wake 2.
Anyway, so next time we're doing episodes 15, 16, 17, 18. Answers will be revealed. A new Kamen Rider will show themselves, and we're going to be dealing with the Hokuto arc because we're done with Toto. We're now moving on to Hokuto.
Hoo boy.
So yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
It's a really good game. You should play it on stream next week.
Maybe.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.